Hello, happy 2022 and welcome back to Polytech Media in the year of our Lord 2022. I almost said 2023 for a second then, get ahead of myself. This year is already off to a fantastic start. We've got more variants than we know what to do with, and we've got governments across the world continuing what they did in late 2020, which is sliding into that authoritarianism off the back of emergency powers. And I won't necessarily go into that because that could be a separate topic onto itself. But I'm going to more focus in on the sort of rollout of the surveillance state. The kind of things that we saw in China and we laughed at and we're like, ha 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 ha, that'll never happen here. But it's going to. There's an article on Reclaim the Net. The UK proposes to increase in surveillance drones to protect women. And they frame this as surveillance state policing. So I'm not going to go through the entire article. I am, however, going to pick out sort of the major points. I'm going to leave the link to this article in the bottom because Reclaim the Net are fantastic. The very free speech, the very anti-cancel culture, the pro-digital rights, and they're coming out with articles multiple times a day across the Western world, just highlighting things that you wouldn't normally see in mainstream media or on social media because it'd be removed. So this article says, under new plans presented to the UK government, surveillance drones could be used at night to protect women from potential attackers or stalkers. The proposals could further normalise the recent trends to replace traditional policing, so guys in a helicopter, guys in pursuit vehicles, bobbies on the beat, bobbies responding to calls with surveillance and technology. So the CAA, so the Civil Aviation Authority, and former police officers are presenting to the government's innovative research programme, to get some funding. And this is taxpayer funding. This is coming out of our pockets. It's coming out of UK resident pockets. So they're saying that a woman in fear of an attack can summon a drone using an app on their phone. The drone will get there in about 4 minutes. And that it's originally going to be trialled at Nottingham University to demonstrate that drones could offer a cheaper alternative and more environmentally friendly alternative. So you can already see the sort of framing, but I'll go into that a bit more after I've read the article. And they aim to get the prototype off the ground in Nottingham for £500,000. So that's the founder of Drone Defence. This is the person who's going to be developing this. And it's going to take about a year to put together this proof of concept. They're saying that helicopters fly at higher speeds than drones, so that's 180 miles an hour compared to the maximum of 55 for drones. And additionally, the helicopters can stay in the air for longer, so that's 2 hours, whereas a drone can't stay more than an hour in the air. Excuse me. However, the developers of the drone system claim that it can reach a location in 4 minutes, while it takes 20 minutes to deploy a helicopter. London, on average, has a police helicopter above it for 8 hours a day. For the same price that they pay for this helicopter, you could have 25 drones offering 250 flying hours per day. And this would need 5 base locations around the city. According to the Telegraph, a technical report for the drone system has already been sent to the Home Office. I already have some big questions, some big issues with this. One, is it only women that can summon these drones, that can have this app? Or is it just sneaky framing? So you've seen the outpour of emotion and the outpour of concern after the absolutely horrific Sarah Everard murder. It seems particularly cynical and cold-blooded for them to use this to hammer home their proposal. What are the requirements for the public to request a drone? Is it literally just press the thing on an app? But, you'd have one of them rape response things, or you'd have in an old person home where they pull the cord and someone comes in. Is it going to be similar to when you're phoning a police officer and say, look, someone's broken into my car, right, we'll be there in 10 years. What do you say? Is it just someone's going to follow me? You literally just press a button on the app and it sends a drone out to you. If that's the case, then it's open to massive abuse. So if they do send this drone out, and it sees the subject, it sees the potential suspect of this, what happens to that video recording? Does anyone go for it? How's it stored? We've already seen what happens with the non-crime hate incident lists. So when people get background checks, these non-crime hate incidents can appear on their DBS or disclosure barring service or their background check. This can stop people from getting jobs. Reminder that the non-crime hate incidents, at this point, very similar, these aren't crimes. They potentially haven't recorded a crime by the time the drone gets there, or there's no crime actually being committed. Another question, what else are these drones going to be used for? Is it just going to be as a response to attack? Are they going to be patrolling the city? They've said that it can only be in the air for 2 hours, but if you've got 25 drones, they can drone around an area looking for a suspect. They can just put extra surveillance on an area, and there's very little chance you're going to know that you're being recorded. So let's have a look at the framing. So I did mention framing. One, it's framed as it's going to protect women. You know, almost as if these drones were in place, they would have somehow stopped the Sarah Everard murder, potentially. I might be reading too much into that. But the project mentions that the drone records and can shine a bright light. I don't think shining a bright light is going to stop murderers. People who really intend on committing that crime, they're going to put balaclava on. You know, it's similar to, it's basically just a flying CCTV camera with a torch attached to it. Another one is that it's more environmentally friendly. It's going to be better for the environment. How do we actually know? When you compare it to a helicopter, you know, what's the carbon footprint for this drone? You know, for what's the footprint for creating, transporting, maintaining, and operating these 25 drones? We know a lot of modern technology uses these rare earth minerals. So what's the footprint for them? What's the lifespan of a drone, and how does that compare to a helicopter? And 3, apparently this is going to save money. This will save money in comparison to using a helicopter. I think there's a Nottingham police force, and they've looked into this as well, and they've said the all-inclusive cost is about $1,700 per hour, when you actually include staffing, fuel, insurance, because you're going to need insurance if one of these drops out the sky and lands on your dog. The unit has an annual budget for 1,000 hours per year, so that's the equivalent of, it's less than 3 flying hours per day, so that's 2.75. So London, I've got the capacity for having 250 fly hours a day, and that. So Nottingham's budget be used up for 4 hours. Obviously, there's different in population, different in crime. My major trade-off with this is that you're not getting a trained police officer sat behind the desk, as you would with them sat behind, you know, the helicopter steering wheel, sat in the pursuit vehicle, walking, patrolling the street. You're probably going to get a civil servant on minimum wage. And nothing against civil servants, but just they're not police officers. So the actual company, I think it's called AeroGuard, they've released how it works. So it's a 6-stage step. So 1, they get the alert. 2, they match that with the location, verify the location. They use the API with the what they call the drone mission planning software. Stage 4, the flight control software. Poof, fires off a drone, a bit like Edith in Spider-Man Far From Home. The drone moves to the alert area to begin whatever task it is, surveilling, shining a torch on you, swearing at you, whatever it's going to do, flying around your head. Stage 6, once it's completed its task, as per the AI, or the drone operators manually complete it for it, it'll return back to base. So there's an issue that we're not seeing here. It's the issue that I have with it. It's not really the cost, although obviously that's an issue. It's not really the I don't like the framing of it. The biggest issue I have with it is that it's an increase in the recording of the population. It's an increase in surveillance. And it's not obvious surveillance. With CCTV cameras, you can see the domes, you can see the cameras themselves pointing at you. You sort of consent to know, I'm going to walk into the shop now. I know that I'm probably going to get CCTV on me. You get the signs up saying CCTV in operation in this area. With a drone, that could be 50 foot in the air, that could be over your head. You could just hear a vague noise and not actually know that you're getting monitored. The UK is already the 3rd most surveilled country in the world, behind number 1, China, and 2, which is America, and those have vastly larger populations. So the amount of cameras per population and the amount of data requests by the government on an individual person, on a private citizen, already makes us the 3rd most surveilled country in the world. Now, I don't know about you, but do we really want the government to have these mobile surveillance drones? Do we really want more surveillance? Let me know in the comments below. If you've got any benefit from this, please share this video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.